Come sit, ordered King Liam. He motioned to a large bench between two large oak trees that sat in the shade. It looked like a refreshing sight as the sun was beginning to warm up. King Liam sat down and patted the space beside him for the reluctant prince to sit in. The king's guardsmen seemed uneasy as Prince Grayson sat next to the king. One of them walked up to him. "Do you think it wise to have the Prince of Peoria to sit that close to you?" He bent down to whisper in the king's ear. King Liam shook his head and waved him away. "I will be fine." The guardsman wanted to argue with the king, but he thought better of it when the king raised his eyebrows at him. He looked very uncomfortable as they walked hesitantly to a distance further down the path, out of clear hearing distance, but not out of sight. Prince Edwin remained standing. "Sit on the other side of Prince Grayson," King Liam commanded. "I am not moving from the edge of the bench." Prince Edwin sat down at the other end of the bench, not looking very happy that he wasn't sitting next to his father. The young prince wanted to be in the middle of the conversation. He leaned forward, chin in his hands and elbows on his knees, so he could hear his father speak. King Liam turned his head towards Prince Grayson. "How old are you, young man?" he asked quietly. It was all Prince Grayson could do to not insolently raise his eyebrows at the question. "That's an interesting question," Radian said to Grayson. "That's what I think." He responded to his inner dragon before he replied to the king. He paused so he could hide the agitation that he felt. "I turned 19 a few months ago," he replied calmly and in the same tone he had been spoken to. He wanted to ask why, but he didn't. "You'll find out quick enough." "You're doing a good job of keeping your cool," encouraged Radian. "I am trying to," he replied to his dragon, turning his attention back to his conversation with the king. The king looked thoughtful. "You seem older to me than that," he said and paused for a moment. "Have you found your mate yet?" Really? He's going to go there," Prince Grayson exclaimed to Radion. Radion guffawed. "No, it's really not that funny," said Prince Grayson. He was obviously not happy with the direction of the conversation, and Radion's laughter was not helping. Radion calmed himself down. "You know your father has already warned you about this, so calm down, play it cool. You already have your directive from King Ion. Just be as honest as you can without revealing what your true plans are." Okay, Prince Grayson replied to his dragon when he realized the king was looking at him strangely. "Be quiet for a moment and let me talk to King Liam." "Sorry about that," Prince Grayson said softly. "My dragon gets talkative at the most inappropriate times. Fate has not revealed my mate to me yet, even though I have been to all the cities and small towns in Peoria," he said truthfully, while answering King Liam's question cautiously. "Have you searched because you are looking for your true mate?" asked the king curiously. "You're not going to tell him we have sensed her in this castle, are you?" Radiant inquired of Prince Grayson, distracting him again. "I don't think that would be wise," replied Prince Grayson. "I agree," said Radion. "No need to start a national incident over our mate. Whoever she is, you are still young. We still have time." Prince Grayson almost smiled in relief. He figured Radion would be all raring to find or meet her like he had earlier in the morning. "I noticed that you have inner conversations with your dragon frequently," King Liam said after waiting patiently for Prince Grayson to give him his full attention. "What is his name?" "His name is Radion," answered Prince Grayson. "I watched you when you flew into Alarion," King Liam said. "He is a magnificent creature." "Thank you," said Prince Grayson. "Honestly, in Pyroria, it is encouraged to find one's true mate. My parents were true mates, and even though I was young, I still remember how they loved each other." "So you are looking for your true mate?" said King Liam thoughtfully. "What if you don't find her? Sometimes that does happen. If it does, then a shifter looks for someone compatible with themselves and their dragon. Or if they fall in love, the dragons have to make the best of the situation." "That's interesting," mused the king. "How old were you when you shifted the first time?" "I was 13, he replied. "You were very young," mused King Liam. "That explains why you have such a strong dragon." "No, that is not why you have such a strong dragon," scoffed Radion. Prince Grayson wanted to roll his eyes when he had a mental image of Radion preening himself. "You are so full of yourself," he told him. "I am not sure if Princess Ebony saw you fly in," continued King Liam, not aware Prince Grayson was talking to his dragon again. "But if she did, I am sure she would be impressed. Maybe my daughter will take a liking to you even if you are not mates." "But sire," Prince Grayson began to protest. but was cut off by Radion speaking loudly in his mind. "Hold your tongue, Grayson," Radion demanded. "Stay respectful." He growled in warning at his Hosento as king. Liam raised his hand to stop anything that Grayson might say. Because both of them were cutting him off, Prince Grayson gulped and shut his mouth. The king continued as if Grayson hadn't said a word. "It would be strategically wise to have a marriage alliance between the countries of Peroria and Alarion. The two of us have slaughtered so many of our own people in a war that we can't even honestly remember how or why it started. Now it has continued for centuries based on hate that has no merit." Prince Grayson looked at King Liam shocked. He was speechless. King Liam looked at him strangely. "I didn't mean you and I personally slaughtered them. I mean the rulers of our countries that fed into this need for war. It stops in Alarion with me, hopefully, and with King Ayan and Pyroria. I think he is really wanting change for his people the best he knows how. And peace," said Radion thoughtfully. "Agree with him," he instructed Grayson. Prince Grayson nodded his head. The mistrust that had been inbred in them for so long made it hard to believe that King Liam meant what he said. "I have to admit that yes, my father, King Ayan, said almost the same thing just before I left him for Alarion," he said calmly to the king, successfully hiding his agitation that had not calmed down much yet. "I believe that he desires peace as much as you do. We talked about the possibility that this was what you wanted from the letter you sent. King Ayan said that it would be a good idea, but he thought that I should meet the princess first before I make any decisions. This conversation can't happen," he despaired to Radion. "I am not taking someone who is not my mate." "Calm down, Grayson," Radion commanded. "We have a destiny and nothing will deviate us from it." "Good. Good," exclaimed King Liam once he could tell he had Prince Grayson's full attention again. "We are in agreement that if my daughter Ebony is agreeable to a union with you, it will be considered. That is all I ask." "And that's all he is getting," grumbled Prince Grayson to Radion as he smiled at the king, trying to look agreeable. King Liam looked relieved. "I am not sure which prince she would like the most. She always surprises me. When I think I have her figured out, she does a flip on me," King Liam said, laughing. "But I think Peroria would be a perfect match for her. She is outspoken in politics. She has behavioral tendencies that are considered very unladylike in our society." Grayson looked inquisitively at the king as he paused. "I am starting to think that this is a matchmaking event, not a birthday ball for his daughter," Radion commented, jumping in while the king was quiet. "I wonder how she feels about this," replied Grayson. "I wonder what expectations King Liam has placed on her." "What my father means is, my sister is known for behavior that is considered odd by Alarian standards, but probably acceptable in Pyroria. For example, she loves going out for walks in the early morning in the forest alone. She cannot sew a single stitch of embroidery or play piano." Prince Edwin interrupted Prince Grayson and Radion. He joined the conversation, trying to help King Liam with his pitch for his sister. He was prompted by his dragon Magnus, who couldn't quite understand why something didn't feel right with him about Edwin's sister, and he persuaded him to help his father convince Prince Grayson to take her if she chose him. The king nodded in agreement. "Those are the kinds of things expected of a royal lady. Instead, she is an avid reader. She reads books in our library that I don't even find interesting. She reads books on economics and agriculture. Every time I turn around, there's another book on war strategy missing in my collection in my office." The king snorted disgustingly before asking Grayson, "Is it true that women in your country are trained for battle?" "She's beginning to sound interesting," Radion mused. Even though he couldn't disagree, he answered Radion quickly, "None of that matters if she is not my true mate." He looked King Liam in the eyes. "Yes, they do train." The king could not hide the shock he received from Grayson's honest answer. "He looks like he's going to have a heart attack," Radion chuckled. "Shut up," Grayson mentally hissed at Radion. He quickly commented out loud for the king's benefit on his original answer. "But they are never sent to battle or compelled to train against their will. Then why even waste time training them, if you're not going to utilize them in battle?" Prince Edwin's youthful laughter broke up the serious direction the conversation seemed to have been headed. Prince Grayson smiled at their ignorance. He was not about to tell them that their strongest women dragons were very skillful. They were taught to defend Peroria in the event of a border breach if the armies were busy somewhere else, and could not return quickly to defend the border. Besides combat and war strategies, they were schooled in defense strategies, such as setting booby traps and blowing up bridges leading to the capital to slow an invading army if needed. He could tell that Illyrian women would be no help if the unthinkable happened at their border while their troops were gone. Good to know. He chuckled to himself. Grayson could hear Radion chuckling with him. King Liam just told on himself. Grayson couldn't contain himself and chuckled out loud at the truth of Radion's comment. King Liam slapped Prince Grayson on his back. I knew you would see the humor in what you said, he explained, still chortling loudly. Prince Edwin looked like he was wiping tears from his eyes. He was laughing so hard he was bent over. Prince Grayson just smiled and nodded. When he had control of himself, King Liam stood up from the bench. Prince Edwin and Grayson did the same. The king put his arm around Grayson's shoulders as he led them out of the garden towards the palace. I like you, young prince, King Liam said casually. If my daughter takes a liking to you, I feel it would be a good match. I feel better after spending time with you. Prince Kern and I also had a similar discussion like this over dinner last night, but I think my daughter would fit well in your country. But it will ultimately be her decision, said the king. Yes, sir, Grayson said. If a marriage were to take place between your daughter and me, rest assured, she would be well taken care of. King Liam nodded. That is all I want. Go get yourself some lunch. I have other guests that should be arriving soon. I need to take my leave. The king picked up his pace as they walked down the breezeway. At the gate, Bella was waiting. My daughter's grand entrance will be precisely 7 tonight, so I expect all my guests to be ready and in the ballroom long before that, the king reminded him before they parted ways. Bella silently led him back to his quarters. Both Radion and Prince Grayson were lost in their individual thoughts. This has turned into such a mess, he groaned to his inner dragon.